Hello, YouTube. Alright, I don't know if this is actually going to make it or not. We're still in an area with bad connection. I tried to do a live stream earlier and it went out. I ended up recording the video segments, so they need to be uploaded, which means they probably won't show up. I'll try to upload it this weekend if I can, but might not be able to because of connectivity issues. But I'm going to try to continue this live stream even though it's a bad internet area. I wanted to let you know what's going on. I have started to work with this kind of, but it's falling into place. I've got the multimedia center almost set up. I'm organizing the different sections. Still need to get rid of junk. There's just too much junk. You know, the problem is when I went into the van, I didn't really have much with me, which was good. But I had stored a bunch of stuff at friends' houses, you know, what was left from my apartment, from my houses and stuff like that. So stuff got tossed over time, but still there was about like 6 or 8 of those bins. And they were like, you know what I'm talking about, those big giant plastic bins that you buy from Walmart, the tote bins. So I had like 6 or 8 of those things full, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you try to fit it into an RV, there's no room for anything else. I was hiding them in the bathroom. You know, that's why the bathroom was taking forever to work on, because every time I wanted to work on the bathroom, I had to move like 6 or 8 cases of stuff. And it wasn't like exactly nicely done. You know, the cases kind of fell apart and were all warped, and some were missing lids and whatnot. And then we had that one time where I was at an RV park for a while and I left them outside so that I could have room inside to live. And it rained into those cases and destroyed like family photos and stuff. So I still have like about 3 or 4 or 5 of those cases. So I've been trying to trim it down, but it's hard. And then some of the stuff is like family pictures. You know, I'm trying to get my brothers and sisters to take them off my hands. It's like they have houses, but they don't want this stuff. And then it's irreplaceable. It's like family pictures. You know, before they were digital pictures. So if I toss them, I may take pictures of them all, so there'll at least be a digital, or I scan them, but scanning takes time, and I don't really have the time to mess with it. I'm kind of in a crunch myself with stuff I got to do. I'm on a limited time on what I have that I can do stuff. And all of you are commenting, and I appreciate it. Sorry I can't reply because I am driving. But anyhow, you can see some nice videos with me doing an experiment. Yeah. I decided to see if the RV, with its solar panels and battery bank, it's got 1,000 watts of solar panels, about 500 to 750 usable, and it's got 500 amp hours of batteries with about 250 usable, which is not really enough to run like high power draw devices for a long time. But I decided to see if I could run the toaster oven. You know, the toaster oven that I use to cook ribs and steak and stuff like that. So I decided to see if I could run that totally off solar. And did the experiment today. And good news. You can cook completely using solar and a toaster oven with a system like mine with about 750 watts, 1,000 watts available solar panels, and only 500 amp hours of batteries, 250 use. It is possible on a sunny day like today was. I was able to cook the ribs. Matter of fact, I have some ribs here. I'm probably going to save till tomorrow. I was going to try to find homeless people to give them out to, but then decided, you know what? I could end up causing trouble for myself. So maybe I got to go get some ice, and then I'll store them in ice. Then tomorrow I'll eat the rest of the ribs. But I had ribs all day today. So that was pretty good. And I was working on the Multimedia Center because I've decided to make the RV, you know, remember the little table, the dining table? I had originally converted it so it could be converted into like a desk, you know, a workstation. And then I converted it back so that it could be a dining for 4 people, you know, upwards of 4 people. But since hardly anyone's ever with me, except, you know, the kids on the weekend, I will probably leave it back to like the desk area, the multimedia area. So I'm converting it back to that mode. Matter of fact, I'm going to build a custom little multimedia storage cabinet underneath it. You know, you'll see it when I get done. It's being done at virtually no cost. I don't want to spend more than $10, $20 working on it. But it'll allow me to basically set up a computer workstation there, the video games, movies. I was watching, if you guys are not familiar with Roku is like a streaming stick. You know, like you can get a little device and it can plug into your computer or your TV, or it's a standalone that plugs into your TV. But it allows you to stream stuff like YouTube and Netflix. But more importantly, it has apps on there that you can download just like you could for your tablet. And one of the apps on there, which has really improved over the last year or two, is an app called Pluto TV. And essentially Pluto TV, from the looks of it, it's like cable TV from the 1980s. So I was watching CSI Miami on it today. They had a hurricane. There was an episode with a hurricane and some bodies showed up and they had to figure out who killed who or how the bodies ended up. And they did a really nice job tying the story together. I thought it was neat because, you know, it had to do with a hurricane. It was South Florida because of CSI Miami. But they were advertising on their MTV. And I was like, what? Apparently MTV is on streaming, and it's streaming on Pluto TV. So if you have a tablet or even a phone with internet connection, you can look up Pluto, Pluto, you know, app TV. It's free. They do have advertising on it. You know, that's how they, just like YouTube and stuff is free, but there's advertising. That's how they pay for the services. But anyhow, I was able to watch CSI on there. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know, other than parking, that RV is like totally self-containable now. You know, I still need to try to figure out how to get the liquid propane gas refilled, you know, the tank on the RV itself. Then I'm going to trying to go off completely and see how long that will last to keep the refrigerator and freezer, you know, frozen. Because with solar, I can run the refrigerator, but it takes all the energy. And then at night, you know, it kind of thaws back out. So, because with solar, if you're not generating enough electricity, then you got to pull the reserve off the bank, you know, the battery bank, to make up the difference. But then the battery bank's not charging. Then at night, you have no batteries. You have no power. So you have to kind of load balance. You got to kind of look at it and make sure you shut off the systems so that at night your solar batteries or your batteries will charge back up so you have power for the night to run stuff like the fan and TV and anything else you want. So it was interesting that I was able to, throughout the whole day, I ran a 120 volt dual fan unit in the window instead of air conditioning. Because I can run air conditioning too if I wanted to off solar. But if I run air conditioning off solar, it actually goes negative in the sense that it uses up more power than it can pull in to charge. And then what happens is, you know, the batteries go low and then it shuts down. So I can only run the air conditioning for like upwards of a couple hours, and then I gotta shut the system off and let it recharge. Otherwise, you know, I could damage my batteries. But I don't bother doing that now. What I do is I open up all the windows and the door, and then I put the fan, the $6 fan that I bought from Goodwill. I put the fan into the windowsill, and it draws because it's got two fan blades. Those you know, the window units that I'm talking about. They're little elongated window thingies with about this big, and they have two fans on them. So it pulls the air in and cools me down, and I had it pointing right at me while I was playing video games on the computer in the bedroom. But then I hooked up the media center out in the living room and got it working there too. So got at least two computers up. Then I have a third computer, the laptop that I had bought. All this was done because my little laptop broke down, the one I had for 6 or 8 years. So I bought all these used computers. They're like old, and I was getting them all rigged up, and I'm trying to set up like a DOS/Windows XP network, so that, because I'm trying to make it so that the computers are all going to be interconnected and can share, file share, and play games like Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, Doom, Descent. I'm going to play the old games from the 80s and 90s with my kids when they visit me in the RV. So each area will have a computer on the network. And what was interesting today was I didn't fully finish cleaning and everything, but I did get the media center set up. I created like 2 big giant bags of garbage and about half a dozen little bags. And I took it to go dump it. And when I went by the dumpster at the place I went to dump at, somebody had thrown away another computer. I was like, holy schmoly. They stuck the whole, I was like, it must be nice to be able to throw away computers, but it was nice of them to throw it, to leave it out there for somebody to take versus just tossing it into the garbage bin. But I picked up their computer, which was a full-size desktop, but it was like so light. I couldn't believe how light it was because it's a newer computer. And you know, the ones I bought for $34 each. They were desktop computers, $34 each, with Windows XP on them. And they weighed a ton because they were from the 80s. So the new computer that I picked up from the garbage by the big garbage dumpster, it had a giant monitor, which I haven't tested. But I did test the computer because I was like, I wonder what's wrong with the computer. Why would they throw this away? They had the computer, the monitor, and the cables, and a keyboard. They didn't have the mouse. Keyboard is missing a key. The monitor is huge. It's like I would say like a 22, 24-inch monitor. So it's a giant size monitor that I haven't tested yet. But I tested the computer by plugging it into my system. I went back to the RV and plugged it back in just to see if maybe they threw it away because the computer was dead. And sure enough, I plugged it all in and it wouldn't come on. So I was like, well, that explains that they probably threw it away because the computer died. So you're probably going to need a power supply. Let me double check the power supply. So I looked into the back where the power supply was, and there was an on-off switch. It was on off. I was like, I wonder if when I flip it on, if it'll come on. So I flipped it on, and it booted up into, I don't know if it was Windows, I think it was Windows 11. It's one of the newer Windows, newer than the ones I have on my computers. But it ended up booting up, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to come up and then ask for a password, and I can't access it. But it just came up, and it logged right in, so whoever's had that computer didn't really set up a password or anything. So I got right into it, and I was like, holy schmoly, the computer's working fine. So I don't know if they threw it away because they just didn't want it. They didn't have room, and they just decided to get rid of it. They didn't throw it away. They left it out by the trash for somebody to take. They knew somebody would want it. So that was nice. I was like, well, that was very nice of them to do that, to leave that out. But, it must be nice to just be able to throw away a $300 or $400 computer. It's not like a high-end computer or anything, but it was nicer than what I've got. So I'll be checking that thing out. I don't know if it has an actual hard drive, or what do they call it, SSD drives? The really light, they're not even physically hard drive. I think they're cards, hard disk cards. Because it was so light, the thing felt like paper. It had no weight on it. It probably weighed less than 10 pounds, less than 5 pounds. Whereas the units I have weigh like 50 pounds each. So I'll be looking at that and then maybe setting that up as the main computer. The hard drive on it was only like 120 gigabytes, which makes me think that it's not a real hard drive, but one of those memory cards. So I was like, and then I looked on there and I was like, it didn't really have any personal stuff, which is good. It had all just links to games, like online. They're all like online. Steam and other games like that. But I was like, okay, so it looks like the person was using it for gaming. Pretty much just gaming. All they did was play games on it. Maybe surf the internet. So I make the OS on there because it's a newer OS, a newer version of Windows. Keep it on there just so I can test my software, to see how it would respond or work on a newer system. because I'm going to be developing software is one of the plans I'm going to be doing, but I'm developing old software, really DOS or MS, Windows XP based, but trying to make it so that they'll run on modern systems too. You know, like packaging it so that it'll run on any operating system, using like DOSBox or something. But I wanted to see how it would do on the newer computers. Lizzie says it's crazy what wealthy folks throw out. Hit dorm downstairs at break, awesome finds. Yeah, people throw out really nice stuff. The like dorms and stuff, the kids throw them away because they get moving and they don't, you know, they don't sell them. They don't have the time to sell them or whatever. To them, it's not worth anything. I mean, it's worth something. That's why they didn't throw it away. So they were nice enough to leave it. Like they didn't just toss it. They set it neatly in a pile so somebody could take it. And it looked like they took care of it. You know, they didn't just toss it where it would break into pieces. So they knew it had value. They just didn't need the money. You know, so it was nice that they just left it there. And I was like, well, I could use a new computer. So I'm going to go ahead and I just turned it on today. I didn't really do much with it, but I'm probably going to go ahead and install some stuff on there and, you know, maybe use it as a gaming computer. I got to see how fast it is compared to the other computers that I have. And, but it looks like it's a brand new one. It's really lightweight. So I suspect that it was one of the cheaper computers. You know, one of those $350 units. But still, $350, you could probably sell it used for about $150, $100 to $150. They just got rid of it. They just didn't want it. So, that was nice. Somebody's cursing and saying, Kira, you cursing because you missed the start? You didn't really miss much. I wanted to say this. I had a comment. Some viewers were wondering about my videos that, you know, the live streams that run for like 2.5 hours. They're like, can you break it apart into little bits? Well, you can't really break apart the live stream unless I go through and download it and re-edit it and then re-upload it into segments. But you don't really need to do that. If you click on one of the live streams that are older or the longer ones, you don't have to watch it on one session. The way YouTube works, you click on it and you watch as much or as little as you want. And when you click out of it, you can go watch other videos. When you click back to that same video, it'll pick up right where you left off. So if you don't have a lot of time to watch the long streams and you really want to watch it, you can watch it over time. Like you can watch it over, you know, like watch 10, 15 minutes, get out of it, then come back again and watch another 10, 15 minutes. It'll resume where you picked off. You know, I mean, it'll pick up where you left off. So that's a little tip for watching those long videos. A lot of people skip them and then they, you know, they don't know what the heck I'm talking about, what's going on, but it was probably in one of the longer videos. Usually the long videos are just like me rambling, but stuff comes up. Like if you missed that long video, we went on a walk. We also were looking for Genie and then we discussed the deformed butterfly. And me teaching a real hard lesson for first graders. So anyhow, that's what's going on with that. As far as my personal situation, there's some major changes coming up. I'm going to wait over the next couple months to see how things kind of play out, and then I'll let you guys know. But if everything goes the way it may, it's going to be a huge change with me and with this channel. You know, the channel I will probably keep because I've decided, I don't know if you noticed, I've started publishing again. I've decided that I need to try to make the channel earn money. You know, so the channel is, because it's already monetized, and despite COVID, you know, hurting advertisers and advertising, it's starting to pick back up somewhat. So I've been publishing more, and I've republished most of the old videos that have been removed. So originally, I had actually removed more than 4,000 videos from this channel. I don't know if it's 4,000 or 2,000. It was a huge number. It was a couple thousand videos I removed because I was actually ending the channel. I was going to end up eventually erasing the channel, and there would be no more channel. That was the plan. But then I've decided, you know what? Channel's up. It's still making money. We'll go ahead and keep it going and make money. And with the major changes in my life, it may actually be more interesting content than what we see here living in a van. I don't know if I'm going to switch channels. I may just keep it on the same channel and just, you know, it'll be renamed so people will know when the time comes. Although it could still be living in a van. I don't know. It just depends on what happens. But anyhow, I wanted to let you guys know what's going on. Expect those uploads coming up. They are very interesting. I cooked the ribs. I cleaned. You're going to see how messy the RV actually looks. The RV like got trashed because of me doing work on it. And just, it's complicated. But basically it has to do, remember those 8 bins that I talked to you about with 8 bins of stuff? When you go through it, you got to put it somewhere, which means all over the place. And then I was also living in the RV and using it to pick up my kids on the weekend. So, and then they would come and they would bring their stuff, they would move things around, and it was a mess. So the RV right now is still kind of a mess, not as nice as in the previous videos, but becoming more organized. And by the end of this weekend, I hope that it'll be mostly cleared. And when I film it, you'll start to get an idea of where things are going. But the Multimedia Center is almost up, almost completely done. Like the Multimedia Center has internet access, has a big screen TV, has video game, over like 2,000 video games accessible, internet capable, able to play internet games, and able to watch streaming video from YouTube, from Pluto TV. Check out Pluto, really good app, Pluto TV. You basically, if you remember what cable TV was like in the 1980s, that's what Pluto TV is, and it's all free. And like I said, they make money off advertising, so I expect a lot of advertising to pop up on there, just like regular old TV. And they'll have shows on there, like from MTV, and I think maybe even Survivor and some of the other channels, you know. Basically, they took shows that were in the past, and they put them on there. And I think there might even be current shows, but they're streaming them on there. So it's like a lot of opportunity, a lot of options. I just wonder how well Pluto works overseas. So those of you who live overseas, let me know if you download and use Pluto TV, if you can watch American TV shows. Because that's something that kind of interests me right now, is being able to access American TV shows if you're not living in America. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, Lena, good to see you. I'm just going to do some shout-outs. Hello, Donovan. Hello, Todd. Zelda. One of my favorite names. A Angry. Southern California Kevin. He says to pay a scanning service, they just pick a stack of photos in a machine and then they scan them. I'm too cheap to do that. And the photos are like, let me put it this way. If they don't want them, you know, I'm getting to the point of saying, if they don't want them, screw it. I'm going to take a photo of it with my camera, and then it'll have a digital copy. And we lose the camera. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to get this thing secured on here. All right, that's messed up. Okay. Can you see me? All right. Basically, I'm going to take pictures of all those photos. I'm going to contact my siblings and say, look, if you want them, this is your last chance, because I don't have room. You're having the homeless guy archive and save everything. You guys have houses. All right, let's go through. Hello, George. Hobbs, good to see you on here, man. Hobbs wants to know how to gain subscribers. The main thing you got to do is just, I would say the best way to get new subscribers on a channel that's new is post on other channels. You know, visit other channels, post on there. People get to know you. They'll click on your icon, and then if they like your content, then they'll come over and subscribe. The other thing is, like, have a Facebook, you know, and then basically join groups that are interested, like Hobbs Horrors, if it's horror stories and stuff. You want to join groups that are into horror stories, obviously. If you join a group about Care Bears and your channel is about horror, you're probably not going to gain subscribers from the Care Bear group. So you got to kind of network and grow like that. The other big thing is that's a huge thing, is to produce videos that people want to watch. And that is hard. scrolling through here. Yeah, Hardin says, what a blessing to find a computer. Be sure to sanitize it. So I touched that whole thing, and then I got in my car and I was driving, and I was like touching my face and my mouth, and I was like, holy schmoly. I got crap all over me. I could have Corvette all over myself. So I was getting water and sprinkling all over my hands, all over the steering column. And I'm like, you know what? I've already infected myself if that's the case. Hi, Private. Good to see you on here. Ray. It's a complicated story, but basically it fell out. The teeth got broken because when you get older, believe it or not, those of you who are younger right now, you may not know it, but as you get older, things break a lot easier and they don't heal. And my tooth broke simply from eating. I was celebrating that I got a job at the post office with my then fiance, and she had cooked up some pork chops, and I bit down into some a big chunk of pork chop that turned out to have a bone in it. And I bit into the bone, and I heard a crack, and then I cried because I knew what happened, and these are permanent teeth. It's messed up. For the longest time, it's complicated. I spent money, hundreds, that was going to be thousands, to try to get it fixed. Dentists make a lot of money if you want a good career job. Make money, be a dentist. But honestly, I think dentists rip people off. I don't think they should be charging that much. You know, when I ride along the riverfront and you see those mansions there on the riverfront, most of those are dentists. Okay, they charge a lot of money. It's like a fixed market. Yeah, if you want to look good, you gotta pay. I guess it's the same as cosmetic. Most cosmetic surgery, like, you know, boob enhancement, nose enhancement, or whatever, those people charge a lot of money because the people who pay for that, they have money. Vegan Affleck says I should keep the channel. Yeah, I'm probably going to keep the channel. Most channels, you're going to notice, change over time. And the reason they change is because of trying to grow if they decide to keep them. Because you lose subscribers constantly. I don't know if you guys know that. You know, people come and people go. So if you don't keep growing your channel and keeping your channel content interesting, it's going to start to stagnate and go down. So as you start to change your channel, you're probably going to lose some people because people came to your channel because they like certain things about it in the past, but they don't like the new format. But then you attract more new people. And that's kind of the way it's going to have to happen. Now, originally I wasn't planning on being on YouTube, but with the change that's about to happen, if it happens, let me put it this way. It's a huge, huge change. And if it happens, it'll happen within the next 6 months to 1 year. So it's kind of long range. And one of the key limiting factors that's determining this is COVID-19. Because that's the big, huge thing. The big, huge elephant. So if it does happen the way I want it to happen, it should be very, very exciting. If not for you guys, for me. Hey, Go Frugal, good to see you on here. Hello, Edoji. I guess it's Edoji. Let's see, let's just scroll here. Hello, Penny, good to see you on here. I'm reading all your names because I missed all you guys, and I'm worried about certain people I haven't seen in a long time. You? I think that might be a troll. I don't know. Spider's Nest, good to see you in here. Good to see you're safe, staying safe. Teresa, good to see you. And Lizzie. I will be doing some more videos, even though the channel is going to be shifting more and more away from van life. But I will be doing some, I guess, condensed videos, maybe a really short series. You guys will already know most of the information. Those of you who have been with me like forever, you already know the information, so it'll be like a review. But it basically avoids some of the mistakes that we learned, you know, in the past, past 4 years, pretty much, living in the van, really living in the van. So, like, I could tell you some tips that we didn't know, you know, when we first started, like what is an optimal battery bank size to use for living full time in a van and cooking and stuff. I would say at least 200 amp hours. At least 200 amp hours with 100 or more usable. Maybe 150 usable. So if you can have 200 to 300 amp hours of power, that's enough to live in a van and cook food and run fans, 3 fans all night. Do you need solar? Originally, I would have told you, don't bother with solar because you can charge off the alternator. And that's still true, but having solar, oh my gosh. It's like a night and day. Having solar means that during the daytime, I can cook food without running the van. Now, if you're driving around all the time, every day, like I was when I was working the night gig, it wasn't a big deal because I had to drive anyways. But now that I don't have to drive so much, like on a weekend or something when I want to cook, I could go to a park, and instead of having to cook while I'm driving to the park, I can wait till I get to the park, set up a little picnic area, and then cook in the van without the engine running, using solar. Now, my solar panel is only like 255 watts, which isn't enough to power the rice cooker, but between having a 200 amp hour battery bank with 100 plus, probably about 150, 120 amp hours available, plus the solar panel, if it's a sunny day, I can cook rice with no problem, and I could probably cook meat or whatever to eat with that rice with no problem. And if I wait a little bit and let it recharge, I can watch TV and stuff, lay there and watch TV, wherever I'm camping. The difference with having solar panel, I would recommend it now, is because during the daytime, you can run your TV, your fans, and if you have a little electric 12 volt refrigerator, you could probably run that during the daytime if you have enough power that you can have cold drinks all day long. So is it worth it to have solar? Yeah. Is it critical? Is it necessary? No, it's a luxury. But you could get a solar panel system if you go cheap like me. You can get a used solar panel system from like Solar Wholesale, and they sell it there for as low as between $50 to $80 for like 300 watts, upwards of 300 watts. You can get a nice solar panel. Most solar panels that you see for vehicles are like about 100 watts. Some are 150. I would recommend, if you have 100 to 150, it should be more than adequate for living in a van. But if you can get like a full 250 to 300 watts like I have, I'm not having any power issues as far as during the daytime when I have to, cook and stuff. So I would recommend 250. I would recommend my system 250 watt solar panel with a 200 amp hour battery bank. That's two RV batteries hooked up to the vehicle, charging off the alternator. Like right now, I don't have a charging off alternator, but it should be charged from the sun because I didn't really use it. So I would recommend that as a really good system, like a functional system. And if you wanted to run a refrigerator, one of those nice Dometic or whatever ones that are power conservation refrigerator freezers, you probably want at least 300 or 400 amp hours of batteries. I would recommend. But I don't think you really need that. I haven't tried running my cooler, which I might try one of these days. Let me turn off the vehicle. You might notice that it's getting kind of, I'm going to turn some light on. It's getting kind of dark, so losing some light, and I'm going to be signing out here in a minute. But just want to let you know what's going on. If you want to watch the long videos, watch them in segments. Just watch it, go to other stuff. You can come back to it at a later date, and I'll pick up right where you left off. And like I said, look forward to the new videos. They're going to be rehashing old stuff, but just pointing out how to build a system without spending too much money and avoiding some of the mistakes I had in the past. I got to get water. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Thank you all for joining me. Look forward to the video uploads. I'll try to upload them tonight if I can. If not, hopefully by the end of the weekend. Take care, everyone. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Todd, good to see you on here. And Rob. Go Frugal wants to know if I thought of getting a good generator. You know, I have a generator with the RV that I got, and it works just fine. As far as solar panels, I never thought of building one because I think it's cheaper to just buy one, especially a used one. You know, I bought my 255 watt panels. I paid less than $50 each. Scrolling through real quick here. All right, Queen Risha? Divalicious. Good to see you on here. Welcome aboard. All right, stay safe, everyone. Please take care of yourselves. Somebody's asking about Thousand Trails. I had looked into it, but then when I was reading reviews on it, a lot of times they don't have them available when you need them. They're only available at certain times and in certain places. The other issue with Thousand Trails is it would be good if you're one of those travelers that can go anytime. You know, like you can go when there's an opening. If you're a part-timer and you live in a house, and then you can schedule and book in advance and have Thousand Trails so you can go there and be there. But if you're living in a city like I am and having to work, it doesn't work. Thousand Trails is mostly for like recreational RVers. And then from what I heard, a lot of times they didn't seem to have them available for people. And it literally is like upwards of $1,000 or more to join, I think. So I don't think it's really worth it. But the problem is you may have to do stuff like that. We can talk about this on another episode, but it really seems like the government, at least in America, is anti people living off grid, even living in an RV. They want you can see the tracking that's occurring right now. I know I'm going to sound paranoid here. We go to the paranoid side here, but a lot of places now are requiring debit card, credit card instead of cash. It's to track you. So the government is, you know, Big Brother, 1984. I know we're like, 94, 2000, it's like 40 years behind, right? 40 years, 36 years behind. But government is tracking your every movement. I know they track you with your cell phone. They track you with Google. They track you, you know, whatever you're talking about right now or watching right now. Ads and stuff may come up. I don't know if they're only tracking to try to get you to buy stuff, to turn you into like a zombie consumer, or if they're tracking and actually controlling. I don't want to talk too much about it because I could end up disappearing here if you know, it's not like one of those conspiracy nuts and stuff like that. But when somebody knows a lot about you, they can end up doing things to influence you, like to control your mind, basically. So it's one of the reasons I'm going to have one of the major changes, and you may sort of see me kind of disappear. I don't know. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go. It's really going to be hard to disappear completely, especially if your income is coming from the internet. So it might be better to just play like a sheep and continue to play along. But there are some stuff that's happening right now that disturb me greatly about how technology, and you know, I'm a technologist. I understand, you know, a lot of how this works. I know some people say, well, you could use VPN, you could do all that stuff, and it might help to an extent, but really the people setting all this up, they are very experienced, and maybe the people setting up the whole VPN and all that, you know, they're the experts in this, and they're getting around it by like using debit cards. It's multiple ways of tracking somebody. So even those of you with fake names and fake accounts, I hate to tell you this, but they know who you are, who you really are. So the only real way to avoid it is to disappear completely off the internet. And even then, they'll still track you. If you use a cell phone, if you use even a regular phone, if you drive a car, one of the modern cars, smart cars or whatever, they'll track you. So it's unavoidable unless you go somewhere else. But we'll save that. So until next time, everyone, take care. Please stay safe. God bless you all, okay? Be careful out there. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.